All right. As far as injuries go, Noah's not injured, but he's sick. And then Bolton is still recovering from the ankle sprain. So other than that, everybody else will practice. We elevated a couple guys, Matt Dickerson and Montreal Washington, put Prince down because of a quad tear there. And then we have a couple of practice squad receivers that we signed on. So we look forward to the challenge, playing the Jets, good football team. We know that. One of the best defenses in the National Football League, and an offense that's growing. So we got to stay on top of our game. Special teams, I think, is ranked number one in a lot of categories right now this season. So we'll start the practices today and make sure we detail our work going forward. They're also well coached. I mean, Robert does a real nice job with the team, and Nathaniel, we know, is a brilliant guy offensively, and Jeff Albrecht is a very good defense coordinator. So they're fully loaded on the coaching staff, and they've got good players. So we just can make sure we put the work in this week. With that, time's yours.
Andy, I couldn't understand the first guy you mentioned, the guy who's sick today?
Noah.
No, great. Okay, all right.
There's only one Noah. Well, I guess there's
It
two.
goes to 53 to find him.
Yeah.
Montreal Washington, you talked about bringing him up.
Yeah.
Any chance you can get him involved as a receiver yet, or is right now, is he just a kick guy?
Yeah, we're working him in there. He takes some practice reps, so we'll just see how that goes. I mean, he's new to that, so his main focus was returner, but he can do both.
You expecting Richie James back at some point this year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Andy, with the Jets' defensive line, with Quinn Williams, just the challenge of facing them and just how they've been so good so far this year, at least one unit on that team's been good.
Yeah, well, he's a fantastic player. All pro. He's young and explosive and kind of wreaks havoc inside. Now he's not the only one. So they've got really two full lines, 8 guys, and you probably could add a couple of rushers outside. So 10 guys that bring it, and they're going to throw fastballs at you. So it'd be a good challenge for our offensive line.
Andy, going back to the injuries, you say Prince had a tear in his quad?
Yeah, quad tear. Yeah.
Is there a plan for who's going to back up Juwan now?
Yeah, we're working on that right now, but we're gonna we'll get all that. Yeah, we're working through it.
Quad tear is pretty serious. Is that out for the year? Is that an easy assumption for that one, or what would you say?
We'll see. You guys are asking me these things. I mean, having me predict the future on these. I don't know that. So we'll just see how it goes. Yeah.
When it comes to the O-line, we focused a lot on Juwan, but just as a whole, it's a little different with the tackles this year. How have you felt like it's been through these games so far?
Yeah, he's done good, with the exception of the penalty part of it. So.
I mean, more so the line as a whole with the new tackles, just through 3 games. What do you think?
Yeah, well, when you're getting a lot of yards in a game, normally your line's doing okay, and the tackles are part of that. So, can we get better along there? Absolutely. But that's all of us in there. So we got to. But there've been a lot of yards and a lot of throws and so on. So, but we've had games where we've shot ourselves in the foot and haven't scored, and that's kind of the most important thing.
Andy, you mentioned the Jets defensive line, their defensive backs, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reid, they play with a lot of confidence. What are you saying from them?
Yeah, they're very good. They're aggressive. They play quite a bit of man coverage. So, and both the corners play well in man, and their safeties likewise. They got good nickels, dime. They'll play some dime in there too, and they're all pretty good. Now, Sauce is, he's a special guy, but they're all very good coverage guys.
Andy, was Kadarius completely healthy on Sunday? Is that just your decision for his small snap?
Yeah, I just didn't want to push the toe on the thing. I mean, we started him off, and then I backed off him. That thing had swollen up, and we got the swelling down. I kind of wanted to end the game with it that way, So
Andy, with either you, both you and Patrick, as his salary goes up, he's more and more a part of what you do, and I know he's grown as a player. Do you have to coach a little bit different to protect him? Do you do more, knowing how much and how much you would lose with him, and do you coach him differently to maybe get the ball out even a little bit sooner? Don't take any risks. Is there an evolution there with both you and him?
yeah, so I think as time's gone on, he's done that. He's getting it out a little bit faster, more on time. Then the more with the new receivers, the more he gets used to those guys, then it'll increase more as we go through this season. So, and we do enough movement stuff where we move the pocket. I think that's important. That's all part of this offense. It's not a secret. So, all that stuff's important too.
Coach, it was revealed on films that on Kelsey's touchdown, he was supposed to run a corner and instead went inside. Just, I guess, what's your reaction to that, and how many years does it take to say, okay, you're cool to break off your route?
Yeah, well, as long as he and Pat are on the same page, when you're walled, then we give him some flexibility there. So, yeah, he's had a few of those.
Andy, obviously, defense is a work in progress. You want it to get better and better, but I do wonder if you feel in any way pleasantly surprised by what it's done early, and what do you think's enabled
Yeah,
that?
I'm not surprised. I just, from what I saw in camp, I mentioned how the zones were tighter and the guys in man coverage were also tighter and doing a nice job. I thought the young guys they're growing. They're in the process of growing. The thing you've got to do is you have to do it every week and keep working to get better. These guys have some good receivers, so you're gonna have a nice challenge there. But it's again, they'll tell you that they can get better, but they're working their tail off, and I think that's been a big part of it. Spags does a phenomenal job teaching, along with you're talking about the DBs, David and Donald, and then putting them in good positions. But these guys, they're making plays all over. You saw what Tony McDuffie did. I mean, he was in a couple different spots and moving around and did a nice job with it.
Coach, one or two things that you think are the reason that it's taken so far the way it has?
So they've worked at it, the fundamentals, techniques, and the different coaches seeing it. They've been able to see it. And then your D-line, there's some young guys there that have gotten some experience and are playing better. So just with the experience. So that always makes the back end, it helps them.
Coach, the Jets obviously had kind of the rug pulled out from under them early in the first game with Aaron going down. I know you're not in their meetings or anything, but on film, are you seeing like the kind of spirit you'd expect to see, attitude from their team? They don't look like they've packed it in or anything, right?
No, they won the game,
Yeah.
So they we'll be ready, for the best. I mean, that's what we anticipate getting there, and they're at home, and they've got talent. So we have to make sure we buckle down and work like crazy this week. Take care of what we can take care of.
Couple more guys.
There's like
a handful of guys as receivers that have had big years for you as a rookie in your offense, like Deshaun, Jeremy, Reggie Graham, Tyreek. Is there something about Rashid's makeup that tells you that he can kind of be in that category too?
Yeah, I mean, he's growing again in front of us here. He's one of the young guys but he looks like he's getting more on the same page with Pat. Pat spends a lot of time with him, and and he wants to, he's got the right attitude. He wants to be good. And so it's consistency. So he'd had a nice game. He's coming off a nice game now, now present it again and take another step this week. That's the attitude you've got to have, and he seems to have that.
Last three will Aaron, Sam, and then sir.
From a play caller's perspective, obviously their quarterback's still trying to gain some confidence. How do you instill that? How do you give confidence to a quarterback that's kind of a shaky ground, if you will?
Yeah, listen, Nathaniel, he's been doing it a long time, so he played the position and so on. So I'm sure he has his own way of doing it. and we'll get him there. He's a BYU guy. Come on.
Sam.
Andy, what do you make of just what Jared McKinnon's been able to do at his age? Obviously, the injury
Yeah.
he's gone through.
Yeah, no, amazing guy, great attitude, and works like crazy. So even in meetings, he's doing some stretching or doing something there to make sure he's good to go. He's survived 10 years of running back in this league. That's a long time, dog years. Yeah.
Last one, sir.
Coach, I know you want to win every game, right? So you'd like to be 3-0 and not 2-1 here. But last week the Cowboys were getting all the hype. This week the Dolphins are getting all the hype. Do you kind of like, you've had plenty of weeks where you're the team getting all the hype. Do you like kind of maybe not being the team that's up front, maybe not being the one that all the talks about?
Yeah, I don't. I don't listen to all that noise that goes on. So I mean, this is most of the media I get is right here. So I don't read stuff. I don't look at the TV stuff or listen to it. I don't do all that. So
Team though, did they?
yeah. But if you're asking me, so I don't know that. I don't really get caught up in it. I don't talk about that. It takes so much time to get ready for a team and in the NFL, and so you don't have time for all that other stuff. I mean, I know it's used out there and that, but if you do this thing right, you're just every minute you get, you exhaust on the opponent, and you see coaches working along there. You see these players carrying these iPads all over the place, and they're in the training room. They're looking at them. They go home. They look at them, and if you're going to be good, that's what you've got to do. That you have to dedicate that. So then you don't have time for the other stuff.
All right, thank you.